the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Gotta give all praise to Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Gotta give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles. The great millstone led me to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities through judgment, mercy, and wrath to all those to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we be part of that. Lord willing to be those who fear in the name of the Lord and instruct the Lord's righteousness every day to their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5. It is not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 is unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. It's a sincere salutation for all the Atham that have been pushing the truth and believing the truth across the four corners of the earth, and also all the honorable multitude of men, women, and children who came back to the obedience of Yahawah, Yahawashi, whoever they may be. Shalom. So we're going to get into this lesson that the Lord put the Spirit on me to go with tonight. And this is some of the topics that I'm going to be dealing with, but I'm also going to be dealing with various other topics. Illinois passes a law ending cash bail. Also, Westchester DA closes Trump investigation. He still has other things pending, but they closed this one. We're going to talk about that and some other various end-time topics, but we're going to get started with something else first before we deal with that. So, Lord willing, is edifying to the flock. Also, there's someone on the community board, one of the brothers from the Dallas camp. He's really one of the, he's a GMS brother. He's actually, been in the troop a while. I believe he's actually an elder, but I'm not sure. But he had a lesson. I just posted my community board, but he had a lesson. And he was going over, I was listening, meditating in the word, listening to him, and he was showing all these videos that these Edomites have been showing these military equipment and everything, and these different vehicles and tanks. They're bringing in a bunch of different cities. So we're getting closer to this world war. And there's an article that's also I'm going to be dealing with as well, with that cash bail thing. They're getting ready for something big. So, Lord, when we make it out of here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So first we're going to start right here. It talks about Dodge City, right? You saw Edom always trying to dodge shit. See? Dodge City. It says Waterworld, incredible plan for a real-life Noah's Ark floating city that will be home to 40,000 people in the apocalypse. They didn't say in a possible, probably say in the apocalypse. They're going to try to do this. Okay? They're trying to run from judgment. We're gonna read some of this. We're gonna see. We're gonna watch some of this video. We're gonna show you what Esau Edom is trying to get away from. He's always trying to escape his judgment. Let me refresh it. Should play now. Internet's been going a little bit better today. Water Yahawashi Rawchaa. Lord willing to play. But it's got some pictures that we can look over if it doesn't. Come on now. Alright, well. We'll go go down here and read a little bit. If it start coming back up, we'll play it. But it's got some photos right here. But it says, tech dolphins have unveiled plans for a bizarre floating city likened unto a real-life Noah's Ark. We know the Noah's Ark. They can't play the video for some reason. Try to refresh it one more time. We're going to read down here and see if it'll load up in a second. But it talks about ocean-based metropolis will be self-sufficient, will provide a self-sufficient habitat for 40,000 people, designers in Japan say. So this is what they're trying to run from. They're trying to run from Yahawashi to all the nations are trying to run from the judgment of Yahawashi. Go look at these pictures. If it'll let us, that's a couple of them. And we're gonna pull up some precepts about it. I don't want to be too long on it. So other things that I want to go into, but this is just showing that something big is gonna come. Okay, the rich is trying to escape this place. Everybody's running. Yeah, come on now. Gotta get me a new computer soon. Lord willing, they give me one, man. This thing be going slow. Man. All right, we're just gonna show a couple of pictures. You know, we're not gonna show the whole thing, but that's what it's gonna look like. You know, they got their little confines at the bottom where they probably store stuff. You know, it's gonna be like a floating city. Okay, so that's basically what it is. They trying to make their own little Noah's Ark, trying to survive the times that are coming, which is not gonna work. So we're gonna look up some precepts. We're gonna get into this. This is Psalms chapter 49, verse 11. Salaki. So this is Psalms chapter 49, verse 11. And this is mainly talking about Esau, Edom, but the other nations that are walking around here and all across the four corners of the earth, this is how they feel about, you know, their kingdoms. But it's ultimately, this is very big on America, Babylon the Great. This is really who this is talking about. So it says, Psalm chapter 49, verse 11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And this is a way that we can know who Esau Edom is, not without even saying nothing really about them. You know, they're the only ones who do that. Verse 12, nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. And he said, that's what the Lord said. He said they're brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, man. That's all they for. Esau, Edom, and these other nations are made to be destroyed. Esau, Edom, and other nations to go back into slavery, and then Esau, Edom is going to be destroyed. And the other nations are going to be tributaries to Israel forever. But they're still going to have inheritance. They're still going to have 90% of everything that they've created. They're just going to give us 10% of the best. You know? They're not going to be immortal. They're not going to be immortal. They're gonna have to struggle like we do to stick with the law right now, like we do. So I wanted to look this up to kind of tie in, you know, to show that they like to escape judgment. But I want to go do it in the Blue Letter Bible and look up a word. Might not be playing no video, but at least this is going faster. It's gonna kind of explain to you this is how they are. They try to escape judgment. Okay, because when it talks about the serpent, you know, the churches, the Christians will tell you that it's an actual serpent. It's not talking about an actual serpent. It's talking about a seed line of people. So we're gonna deal with this real quick. If I can get it to pull up. So Edom don't like us pulling up this blue letter. He don't like it. Come on now. Oh man, I tell you, man. I can't get it to pull up. I have to go put in the comment board definition, Strong's definition. I'll go put it down there. If it's going too slow, it just, if for some reason blue letter does not work on my computer. Never does, man. I just need an update or something. I don't know. But there it goes. It's finally acting like I'm not trying to do something very fast. I'm just trying to look up scripture. So Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, it reads, "And I'll put enmity," which means hatred, "between thee and the woman is Israel." When you look in Revelation chapter 12, verse 1, it says the woman Israel. You know, we're his woman, basically, the nation. We're the bride. And between thy seed and her seed. And women can't have seeds, so we know that it's talking about Israel, right? Because women can't have seeds, so it's talking about the nation first and foremost. So it says, "It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." So when you look up that word, you gotta go up one. It's talking about the serpent, verse 14. "The Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go," which means they will be the bases of men, carnal minded, "and dust thou shalt eat all the days of thy life." You know, they won't have no spiritual understanding of anything. They're carnal beings made to be used to punish Israel and then be destroyed. That's it. Esau, Edom is. And the other 16 nations, you know, they followed in his footsteps, and this is why they have to pay a part of this wrath, and they have to go through also the 1,000 years of slavery. But then after that, you know, they're gonna be free. You know, well, they're not gonna be free. They're gonna be ruled under us, but they're gonna be freer than they are here. So we're gonna look up that strong word for serpent. That's really what I want to look up. this talk about how they want AI to rule the world, and they can't even make fast enough internet to put damn scripture up.
Strong's H 5175. Nachash. Nachash.
Nachash, right? It says serpent, snake, serpent, image of serpent, fleeing serpent. See? They flee. That's what they try to do. They try to escape judgment. Okay? When you look up the root word of it, all right? It says to practice divination, and it means nachash. Okay, to practice divination. Okay, what's divination? What's divination? See, they practice this stuff. Snakes can't practice this. So it's divination, a practice of seeking knowledge of the future or unknown by supernatural means. See, that's how they are. They try to use their soothsayers and their little, devices, and stuff, which is not really supernatural. But they try to use like signs and little omens that they do in magic, just like Pharaoh did with the snakes and the serpents to imitate Moses in the days when we were in Egypt last time. So to practice divination, divine, observe signs. What does Esau and Edom do? So-called white man. They observe everything. Learn by experience. That's why we know when it started with Cain, he's had a rock. And by experience, how you gonna learn by experience unless what? Unless you've grown and learning how to use something. And this is why their weapons are so advanced now. They went from a rock all the way to this military grade high-tech weapons over the whole time that they have learned to murder people. So diligently observe. What do they diligently observe? Our iniquities. Okay, that's why they've set up this place, to keep us down and keep us going off. But it was from Bahasham because we sinned against them. Practice fortune telling. Take as an omen. See? To observe signs or omens. See? They don't ever show you that kind of stuff in church, man. And they never will. You're only going to find that and learn how to look up words, from Grave Millstone. They're the only ones who are teaching people to do that kind of stuff. I didn't even know what the Blue Letter Bible was until I started listening to Grave Millstone. Okay? That was when I really started learning the Bible. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Should go a little bit faster on from there. So 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, it says, there had temptation taken you, but such as is common to man, but power, or the Most High, which is Yahawah, is faithful, who will not suffer you be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So it talked about that we're going to be in a temptation coming in Revelation chapter 3, verse 10, that's going to try the whole world, right? Try to tempt you to take the seat here. But the Lord said that if you're of the elect, that you're going to be able to bear this. Well, how do we know we're elect? We put on as that image every day to the best of our abilities. That's the best that we can do, But nobody who really isn't in love with Sophia, which is wisdom, and loves Yahawashi, they're going to trust this in faith. We have faith that was given to us to understand that we can expect this. He said he would give us an expected end. So This is Amos chapter 9, verse 1. We're going to read a little bit. I'm going to get back, to this. And this is why we don't worry about these kingdoms, because the Lord's going to cut them off. Amos chapter 9, verse 1. And I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel at the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head. What's that? That 70 system, that Babylonian system, okay? It's a beast system, okay? That's what it's talking about, cutting in the head. So if it's talking about cutting the military power and all of their things that they got set up, these 7 heads, which means completion as well, how much more for the people who are following it? They're going to get cut in the head too. Some of them actually literally. And I will slay the last of them with the sword. See? He's going to slay the last one with the sword whenever he comes down in great glory after the intercontinental ballistic missiles. So he that fleeth from them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Verse 2, though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb to heaven, thence I will bring them down. So the digging into hell is their bunkers. Okay, they going into their bunkers. We talk about climbing to heaven. It talks about their space stations. It talks about Michael the Archangel going to lead his military. Of course, it's Yahawashi Shah's military, but Michael the Archangel is his #1 top angel. And he's going to send them over there. They're going to take them down. Then over here it says, they hide themselves at the top of Carmel, which is the mountains. I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid, how's he going to search them? With the 144,000 elect men who he chose to do it. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence I will command the serpent, and he shall bite them, which is the Leviathan. And that's one of their little things they're trying to do. Have a little water city, and they got stuff on top. They're going to have stuff underground. They're going to try to hide, okay? They're not going to just have shit on top. They're going to have shit underwater too, all the way. So verse 4. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence I will command the sword, and it shall slay them, and I will set my eyes upon them for evil and not for good. Lord's going to fuck them up. And the Lord Yahawah Shah of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt with what? Intercontinental ballistic missiles. And all that dwell therein shall mourn. Why? Because they're getting payback for what they did to Yahawah Shah. And it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. And this time it's going to be a flood of fire. It is he that buildeth his stories in heaven. It is he that buildeth his stories in the heaven, and have founded his truth on earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord Yahawah Shah is his name. Everything, man. We're not doing nothing. Everything that's being done, everybody walking around, anything breathing, it's all Yahawashi Shah's will. So if we're doing this, it's because Yahawashi Shah wanted us to. If we're doing some dumb shit, it's because Yahawashi Shah wants to do some dumb shit. So that's why we're thinking Yahawashi Shah. He doesn't got us out here doing dumb shit like the majority of this universe. Okay, people on the ground. Okay, so are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord Yahawah Shah? Have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt? We did last time. He's going to do it this time. Lord willing, we part of that number. But he said this time when he takes us out of Israel, he's only taking out a third of us. He ain't taking us all out, because last time 2/3 of our people was complaining and shit, talking about we should have stayed in Egypt. Okay? They're complaining, being little babies about it. So Lord said, all right, next time I won't pick your ass up. So have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt and the Philistines, which is so-called Africans, from Kator, that was who had us in slavery over there in Egypt last time, and the Syrians from Kir. Verse 8, behold, the eyes of the Lord, the Lord God, which is the Lord Most High, which Yahawashi Shah, are upon the simple kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord Yahawashi Shah. See, he's not going to utterly destroy it. He just going to destroy 66% of it. Verse 9, for lo, because they want to be with the other nations. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. So that's showing that the Lord is sifting us out right now. And ain't not nobody getting away from this sifting. He is sifting the whole earth through the spirit. And the prophets are subject to the prophets. You gonna be a prophet, or you gonna worship Esau, Edom, your boyfriend. You're gonna get plucked for doing that. So that's why we are doing that, because we're not of him. He said, "Render unto me what's Caesar's, and render unto me what's the Lord's." You know. No, we belong to Yahawashi. They try to say we in a cult. No, the Lord's retaining what was his after the falling away. He's coming back to get us. Lord willing, we make it out on this side. But if not, we're gonna die for Yahawashi, and then we're gonna be there when it's time to get. He's gonna raise us right back up. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 15, it reads, "Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death." That's 2/3 of our people. "And with hell, we are at agreement." That's what they is. They are at agreement with Esau, Edom. They want to stay here. "When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood we hid ourselves." And that's what 2/3 of our people did. They don't want to come back to the ways of Yahawashi. Verse 6, "Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahawashi, behold, I lay in Zion, which is Israel, a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste," which means we won't be on like some trying to, run and fucking frantic and shit. And during that time, Lord's gonna fucking take care of us, because he's that precious cornerstone. It starts with this truth. Verse 17, "Judgment also will I lay lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place." Okay, this truth. There ain't gonna be nowhere to hide. You're gonna be serving Yahawashi. You're gonna be serving Esau, Edom, and Satan, the devil. The devil just means deceit. So verse 18, "And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it." And that's why we don't want to be like these other nations or these other people, the 2/3. Okay? Because when this truth comes, they're gonna really they're gonna really find out who they are. That they crucified Yahawashi last time, they're gonna have to pay for what they did. They're gonna have to pay for it. So Psalms chapter 55, verse 15, and it reads, "Let death cease upon them, and let them go down quick into hell," which is here. Okay, but hell means the grave as well. It means grave, or or you living under the conditions of your enemies. Okay, that's why we're in hell. That's why it says they call this place the so-called white man's heaven and the so-called black man's hell. When we try to say that the Esau Edom, we go say, well, it's only about the so-called black man. No, it's not only about the so-called black man. We were the ones that the Lord set up to be the leaders of Israel. But we always say as our heritage is a speckled bird. It's so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitians. And then, the other nations that look like Israel, that look like the other nations, but they're Israel. So that's why they try to make it seem like we're like some racists or something. But when it really comes down to it, Yahawashi is racist. He don't fuck with nobody with Israel. So, "And let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings and among them." You see, Lord ain't fucking with nobody else. Okay. He's just going to destroy everything else. So you better figure out what side you on. Because if you ain't figured out what side you on, you're not on Yahawashi side. I know that. Jeremiah chapter 48, verse 8, and it reads, "And the spoiler shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape." No one's getting away. Okay? And it's crazy how they look at it like we're just doing this for fun or something. We're literally in the belly of the beast like Jonas was. We're right in the middle of a Barak of Babylon the Great, captive here, working every day, barely making pennies. You think we're going to take out our time, okay, and be here just doing this for no reason? We're going to find out. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed. as the Lord, Yahawashi has spoken. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 29. And it reads, call together the archers against Babylon, America, Babylon the Great. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she had been proud against the Lord Yahawashi and against the Holy One of Israel, which is Yahawashi. So when I talk about call those archers, it's talking about those intercontinental ballistic missiles, but spiritually, it's talking about his men as well. We're shooting the spiritual archers at her. You know, it said this. We're shooting. You know, we're shooting these taunting proverbs at Babylon the Great. Okay, we're not sparing no arrows either. We're shooting everything we got at this thing to show that this place is wicked and she sinned against the Lord. She needs to be destroyed, and it's justified. So now we're gonna move here. This is talking about at least 103 wedding guests killed when boat capsizes in northern Nigeria. So don't really need to read too much into that, as you can see. But you know, it capsized, killing at least 103 people, including children. Okay. Okay, and you got to remember, we're all back here from last time. So when death happens like this, stuff happens like this, it was a judgment. Okay, that was like the Lord said, you're gonna have to live this long, and then you're gonna be trying to be all and you're partying and mirror, and I'm gonna destroy you before the even time comes for you to even get a chance to get out of here. Some people got that judgment. It's a righteous judgment, and that's why they look at us like we're crazy because we say stuff like that. You don't know who somebody is. Just because they're a child don't mean they're innocent. Nobody perishes innocent. The Lord's judging them for whatever they did last time. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahawah, which is Yahawah. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahawah? What's going to happen? What you think going to happen? He judging us. What you think going to happen to them that don't listen? And if the righteous be scarcely saved, where shall the ungodly and the sin appear? Shit, they gonna get killed, man. Okay, we even terrified, hoping that we make it through, and we're doing everything we can to show we are taking orders from his spiritual counselor, Great Millstone. We're doing everything we can to stay in order. You know, you got these people out here mocking, scoffing. Where do you think they gonna be at? Hey, they gonna be in deep doo-doo. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 12, and it reads, and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and Jerusalem is basically wherever we at, it's our bodies. He's searching with candles, what? To see if we got this light. And he's using the prophets to do that. The prophets are doing what? Going out every weekend, highway and byways, every weekend, week out, some 2-3 times a week. What? Searching, seeing if there's anybody who got this light or who can hold the light. Because the Lord said that he will not dwell with a wicked person. He won't give you this knowledge and increase you in this knowledge if you are ultimately the wicked. Okay. So with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their leads. See, he's punishing the ones that are chilling, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. And that's how the church started. So God is all love. He's everything. He don't want to hurt nobody. Whatever, man. He's pissed off right now. He's finna start taking people's candlesticks because our people are stiff-necked. They don't want to take heed and really get into this thing full-heartedly. Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 11, it reads, therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring an evil upon them which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Why? Because they didn't listen. And that's all. Shalom, Akim. Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Barak, the water for tuning in. And all who else come across Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Barak. So yeah, the people that don't want to hearken unto the Yahawashi, Yahawashi and his counsel, Lord's not going, he's not going to take none of that, man. He's not going to take none of that. He's not a respecter of persons. We got to make sure that we are on, we're on our tower watching. And, there was a certain brother that, I was around for a little bit, and I kept trying to express it to him, I kept trying to tell him, man, like, you got to do this, At some point, you got to start getting on your tower and start doing what you got to do, But, if the Lord didn't put the spirit on you to be a prophet and be prophesying, that don't mean that the Lord ain't dealing with you. Maybe dealing with you just to do something else, maybe doing alms or helping brothers get to camp, stuff like that, But it's like you got to make yourself known. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be like, hey, I want to be a part of this, be in the background for a little while, You don't just go into the the most the most valuable knowledge on the earth and then just get in. Okay, that's not how this works. It's got to be diligent work so people can see that you're approved and that you're really sincere. So 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 12, it reads, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves but unto us they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Spirit. Because when you look it up, it's not ghost. When you look it up, it says spirit sent down from heaven, which are things the angels desire to look into. And that's what we do. This is what we desire to look into. What? Things that are going to help our people according to salvation. We want our people to make it out of here. We want the elect to make it out of here because that's what we look at as our people. We're just a hopeful elect right now, but we hope to be of the elect. So that's who we are wanting to get out of here. That's why we're working diligently day in and day out. So I want to go look up this word angels. Okay. So it says talking about the angels desire to look into. I want to go look up that word angels. Okay. So who are the angels?
Strong's G32, angelos.
Angelos. But when you say that in Paleo Hebrew, it's malak. Okay. And then look, it says a messenger. See, we're messengers. We're sending a message out to the elect of Israel, whomever they may be, because those are the ones that are going to get it. That's what angels are. They're messengers. But like I said, it means malak in Paleo Hebrew. But it says agalos. Let me say it one more time. Let him say it one more time.
Strong's G32, angelos.
And this is there's plenty of scriptures that talk about this as one who is sent, and the Lord sent certain men to do this, okay, and stick with it. And that's how we know that great millstone are those men, because they've been doing this for years, and they've been not making no profit off of it. They've been doing this wholeheartedly. They put their lives on the line, in the midst of this wicked nation. See, a messenger from power, messenger from Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. And that's what, when it talks about the angels desire to look into things, that's what we desire to look into. We desire to look into things that are going to give our people a accurate understanding of how close we are to the end and what's going on. That's why it says right here, wherefore, verse 13, wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober. And it's not talking about like drinking in this section. It's talking about be understanding what time it is and hope to the end for grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahawashi Mashiach. Because it says that drinking is lawful, but you got to do everything with moderation. You can't be a drunkard. You can't just be, slothful, and anybody who's a drunkard is not going to be doing this work on a regular basis. They're going to be slothful. So you can tell who's using the world but not abusing it. That's another precept. You're not supposed to abuse this world, So we got that. Okay. I want to look up Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 12. And there's people who are abusing the world, they getting put to death. Just 103 people on a boat getting married. They didn't think that was going to be their last day, and that's how a lot of people is going to get taken out. They're not going to understand how serious the Lord is until that day they get taken out, man. And that's why we like, nah, we're going to focus on prophecy, because if we're doing that, it's more likely He's going to give us another day to live, because that's the only thing we're supposed to do, live day to day. And this is the Lord's money. Okay, these prophecies and these breakdowns, this is the Lord's money. And if he give you his money, his knowledge, and you just holding it, and you ain't doing nothing with it, hey, he's gonna be like, hey, give my money back, man. Eventually, he's long suffering though. It depends on who you are. You can have favor on you and wait, but I don't want to take that chance. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 12. Oh wait, I already read that one. Okay, let me do this. I already read that one a minute ago. Okay, so we're going Revelations chapter 2 verse 5. Yeah, this is the one I want. Okay. It says, remember therefore from whence thou art fallen. See, we all fail. And repent. Means what? Now put on the new man and do the first works. What's that? Feed the flock. He said that to Simon Peter 3 times. He said, feed my sheep. If you love me, feed my sheep. Give them something to consider and to keep wanting and updating, what we got going on out there. So it says, and I will come or else I will come unto thee quickly and remove thy candlestick out of his place, except thou repent. And that's what he did. Then people didn't want to repent. The gospel's been going out. They didn't want to listen. And the Lord took all those candlesticks. He took 103 of them. He said, nope, I ain't even going to give you my money. I'm just going to take your soul. I already did that one too. So 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 12. We're going to do Colossians chapter 4 verse 2. When you're looking into a word, going down the list. Okay, so Colossians chapter 4 verse 2, it says, continue in prayer and watch. In the same with thanksgiving. What? Thanks that the Lord gave us this faith to be the ones that are going to hold on to this truth, and stay watching. Shalom, Akim. Yahawashi, Barak, the water for tuning in, bro. So Colossians chapter 4 verse 3, it reads, with all praying also for us that Yahawah, which is power, or the Most High, will open unto us a door of utterance to speak the mystery of Mashiach. See, this is a mystery to our people. So when we speak it and go all across the word, the Lord is doing it to taunt them so they can't understand what's going on. But this is a way to weed out the elect too, because they're the only ones that's going to understand it. Now, we know we are the hopeful elect right now, but the elect is going to understand all of this and going to carry out the will of Yahawashi to the end. That's how we don't know who the elect is. There's some people that came in this truth and now they gone. Like the head of the Mississippi camp of GMS, he all the way out and he's literally going against GMS now. You see, he was in the truth for a long time. That's why, we got real fear of Yahawashi. We don't want to deal with that. So to speak of the mystery of Mashiach, for which I am also in bonds. Okay. Verse 4, that I may make it manifest as I ought to speak. And that's how we do. We're supposed to manifest these things by speaking about them. Walk in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time. And that's how we do. This is our walk in wisdom, by continually doing videos, continually taking notes, continually watching, meditating in the word and staying in the spirit. So redeeming the time. Verse 6, let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt. So, we try to balance it. We're going to be serious and be like, man, you got to change and get your stuff right. But at the same time, we ain't just tyrants. Like we want to see our people change just like we did. What did they always say? You want to see the change in the world, you got to be the change first, right? So we got to get ourselves right with Yahawashi. And when you teaching this, we got to teach it the way it was taught. So season with salt. It's that 144% truth, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. And that's how we want. We want to answer the man with the same, every man with the same question, because a little leaven up the whole lump, and you can get destroyed for that. You know, we ain't trying to deal with that either. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 17. And this is Paul speaking, okay? And this is what he said. And it reads, for Mashiach sent me not to baptize. And Mashiach means Christ in Paleo-Hebrew, which means anointed one. So for Mashiach sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel. You see? So if he had, you know, Apostle Paul doing this, how much more us? We're supposed to be doing this. And what's crazy, not really what's crazy, what's amazing is that Apostle Paul is probably back here reading his own words, but he don't remember who he is. But I bet you this, if he's here, he's doing the work. Some of the apostles are back in the spirit world, but the majority of them, I believe they're here. And I believe that's how the Great Millstone says that as well. They believe that they're here. You know, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, following them. Okay? I would want to follow. It talks about the ones who are teaching wrong, they get led into a ditch. You know? That was my most fear following anybody. I'm not afraid to follow them because I know that they're the prophets. For Mashiach sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom's words, which, you know, you got these people like Watchmen for Israel. They try to do a 6-hour breakdown on what the MOTB is. That's what it's talking about. You know, not really breaking down stuff down and not really edifying the body, edifying the flock. So not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of the Mashiach should be made of none effect. See, we just gotta just teach the words. As simple as that. You know, we coming to teach this word, and the Lord is gonna put the spirit on you to understand what's going on, if He wants you to. So 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10, we're gonna go back a little bit. And it reads, now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, that we all speak the same thing. That's that same way with Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. We all under one consent, one pure language, Paleo-Hebrew. That doesn't mean you have to know all of Paleo-Hebrew, but know that's our language, you know, and learn certain words in the Paleo-Hebrew. Learn some certain prayers, like you know, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, you know, in the valley of the shadow of death. Those things you want to learn in Paleo-Hebrew, you know. That one I still need to learn. The one, the valley in the shadow of death, the Lord's Prayer. But I know other ones, you know, the Job 5:12 prayer. I know other prayers in Paleo-Hebrew, and I want to learn more, you know. But, you know, I just pray to Yahawashi to increase me, and He'll set up that time when I get into it. So by the name of our Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. And that's what we're doing. We're coming in the same mind, same judgment, you know, coming together as one, under one consent. And, you know, the other camps try to use this like we're all supposed to be together. No, it said because it says mark those who cause division in the doctrine and avoid them. So this is just talking about the ones who are really teaching not for lucre, filthy lucre sake, which is making money. Because all these other camps and stuff, they make money off the Lord. You know, we're not here for that. We're here to exalt the name of Yahawashi. It says while He increased, we're supposed to decrease. You know? So right here, it says the government sues for allegedly seizing 100 100 million? Yeah, 100 million in cash, gold, and jewelry from citizens without explanation. So we'll read a little bit and then we're going to put in some precepts. U.S. government won't specify why it abruptly seized more than 100 million from people's safety deposit boxes in California, according to a new lawsuit. Nonprofit Institute for Justice says it's seeking to halt forfeiture proceedings for a group of citizens who have had their assets confiscated by the FBI with little to no explanation. And that's why we tell Jake, we don't got no rights here, man. Yahawashi made it to where Esau Edom, if he want him to take your stuff, he can take it, don't got to say nothing. He could take you, lock you up, anything. The only reason why this devil ain't killed us is because Yahawashi won't let him. Okay? And that make Jake 2/3 to make it seem like we got some rights or something. We don't have no rights here. Okay? This is all the Lord's work. So it says the case is centered on Los Angeles-based couple who says the FBI abruptly received $40,200 of their life savings from their safety deposit box. So just think about that. You've been saving money your whole life, and you got 40 bands in there, and you just wake up and 12 done took your shit. Okay, they just did that to a whole bunch of people in Cali. And this is just some regular people look like. It said Linda and Reggie, okay, Martin, they're just a married couple, just saving their bread slowly. All that work. And that's the Lord taking Jake's comfort away. Because they believe in Egypt. Want to know why the FBI took their cash. Because we sinned against the Lord. That ain't your cash. All this stuff belongs to Yahawashi, along with the contents of hundreds of other people's safety deposit boxes from a financial storage company in Beverly Hills. And this is in March 2021. Okay? So to think about it, since March 2021, they done taken that much out. And they still asking about it 2 years later. You think they're going to get their money back? No, man. They've been taking out, they just been taking people's shit, okay? And that's been the last 2 years. What you think they doing? They getting ready to try to dip off on Yahawashi. They trying to get their bunkers ready. You don't need no explanation. The explanation is this word. But, you know, only our people are going to know that. So this is Nahum chapter 3. We're going to read chapter 1 through 6. And this is the reason why they do stuff like that. It reads, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robberies. The prey departeth not. The noise of the whip, the noise of the rattling of the wheels, because the noise of the whip is what? We got to go to work all the time, go to plantation. They got us in slavery. You know, they just mentally got us in slavery. They thinking that if you go there and you work, and they give you a couple $dollars, you can go get you some resources, and you think that's not slavery. Well, resources is actually money. That dollars don't mean nothing. And that's the illusion. It's an enchantment. So the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. Okay, it's talking about their power, military power, all their vehicles and all the stuff they have, their riches. Verse 3, the horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And there is a multitude of slain. Talking about they've killed so many people to gain these riches. They've killed billions of people. Okay? And a great number of carcasses. And there is none in of their corpses. They've been still killing people to the day. They stumble upon their corpses. They got to pay for all those. Verse 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. What's that? American Babylon the Great. The mistress of witchcrafts that sell of nations through their whoredoms. And that's economic hitman. When we go back, I did a video that I got from one of the brothers of Great Millstone that he got from El Diashiwamba. And he was talking about this economic hitman. The video, we can't even find it no more. I had to pull up his video just to find it. They done took down so much stuff that the elders show them. But anyways, that's part of that famine of the word too. That's what the Lord taking it down. That's part of the famine of the word too. So that sell of nations through her whoredoms, and the families through her witchcraft. See, which what? That petrodollar. It's witchcraft. It's sorcery. Verse 5, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, Yahawashi, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. He's showing that this is not a good system to be believing in. They'll just take your money right out the damn bank. You know what I mean? Work your whole life. And I will show the nations thy nakedness and thy kingdoms thy shame. You see? And that's why all the other nations right now, they looking at America, Babylon the Great like it's a joke. Like y'all so broke right now. Y'all just jacking your own citizens' money out the bank account and giving no explanation, and then talking about we about justice. Verse 6, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and I will make thee vile and set thee as a gazing stock. That's what the Lord's slowly doing right now. And there's another article that I want to post on my community board it was talking about how Russia was flying around in American airspace right now, and they're sending jets over there. So it's getting hot. It's getting heated. You know, it's starting to. You know, they testing the harlot, and they gonna win, saith the Lord. But after that, they're gonna lose because Yahawashi gonna take them out. So Micah chapter 2 verse 1, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity, which is sin upon sin, and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the palm of their hand." What's that? They can just take whatever they want out their damn bank account. You've been sitting here enslaving all this time for them, and you did everything good. You was a law-abiding citizen or whatever. And he just said, "I'm just gonna take your 40 racks, whatever. What you gonna do about it? You gonna come get it back? You can't. We're not free here." So verse 2, "And they covet fields and take them by violence." This is the heritage of Esau, even the so-called white man. They've been taking people's side by violence since Cain and Abel. That's how they do. And houses, and take them away, and they oppress a man and his house, even a man in his heritage. They took our heritage, and now they taking their own people bank account. They still want to trust in America. They want to say, "Why'd you take it?" What do you mean? But you still asking questions? Verse 3, "Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahawashi, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, because what they do, which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil." And this is that time we in right now. A lot of evil stuff is about to take place, and a lot of people's heart is going to wax cold. Like you got 100 grand in the bank, and they just pull it out. Hey, your heart you're not gonna be, if you have your trust in money, you're not gonna be like, "Oh, it's all good." You're gonna be pretty fucked off about it. Like, you're gonna be pretty pissed. Verse 4, "In that day shall one take a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people. How have he removed it from me? Turning away, he have divided our fields." And that's what he did. We're scattered across the four corners of the earth, and he took all the other nations' stuff too. Got them working for them too. So therefore, thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord Yahawashi. Verse 6, "Prophesy ye not, say to them that prophesy, they shall not prophesy to them, that they shall not take shame." And that's how they feel. They feel like they're going to get away with it. And that's how they are. But I don't want to go that far into it. I want to go to this next precept, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 15. I don't want to go too far into it because we're getting to the big topic that I want to talk about. These are some of the things that the Lord put the Spirit on me to deal with first. So Ecclesiastes 7:15, "All things I have seen in the days of my vanity." See, this is all vanity. There's a just man that perishes in his righteousness, and there's a wicked man that prolongs his life in wickedness. By doing what? Taking houses by violence, taking people's stuff without asking. That's how they are. And they look at it like, what did we do wrong? We didn't do nothing wrong. It's ours. But it says that Esau Edom is a thief and a vagabond. So that's why they think like that. They're wicked. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. And it reads, "But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord Yahawashi see not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. And their heart is full of 7 abominations. And the heart means the mind. Their mind is full of the 7 abominations. It's perfectly wicked. Okay, they're never going to be good people. So you can't put your trust in these people. It says, never trust thine enemy. These are our enemies. We're not to trust them at all. So this is Psalms chapter 44, verse. This is Psalms chapter 44, Psalms 144, verse 4. Salaki. And it reads, man is like to vanity. The days are as a shadow that passeth away. And that's why we don't want to put our trust in these riches, because they could just go at any moment. We want to store our riches in heaven, like it said. We want to store our riches in heavenly places. Ones that'll give us answers to the questions that we're looking for, instead of being like, why did these wicked ass motherfuckers take 40 grand out of my bank account? You won't be asking that if you got the scriptures. Romans chapter 8, verse 24, and it reads, for we are saved by hope. And that's all we prisoners of hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. So they had that hope in the bank account. They had all that bread. They had 50 racks in there and gone. So for what a man seeth, why do we yet hope for? See? Because it's just going to ending in vanity. You're going to realize you just did all that work, busting your ass to try to make it here in America, Babylon the Great. And you ended up with $2 in a pack of Rolos and your next check, just like Jake. That's what the Lord's doing right now. He's bringing Jake down where the ones that are up there, and he's bringing down Esau Edom with him too, And your average six-pack Joe Edomite, they don't even know what the hell's going on. They just walking around getting drunk. Psalm chapter 62, verse 9, it reads, surely men of low degree are vanity, and a man of high degree are a lie. So these ones that got all this money and stuff, and they flying it and got their nice cars and stuff, it's a false reality. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. So ain't nothing here is worth our time except serving Bahasham Yahawashi. We don't have no other reason to do anything else. So while that's going on, there's a famine over here in Vietnam. So it says there's nothing for me. Vietnam drought dries up income. So that's what it looked like out there. It's just straight desolate. So on the shores of the reservoir that feeds one of the Vietnam's biggest hydropower plants, Dang Tai Phuong points, Salaki, if I said that wrong, at the cracked ground where the fish that help her earn a living normally swim. So the Lord is drying up the rivers, okay, and causing famine in many places. So I don't want to read too much into it, but I want to go pull up something that kind of explains it, because there's some Jakes over there that's going through that. We scattered across the four corners of the earth, and a lot of them probably don't even know they Jake. So this is Haggai chapter 1. We're going to read down a little bit. We're going to go through this. So it says, the story of Darius the king. In the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai, the prophet of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, Salaki, if I said that wrong, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, of the high priest, saying, when you look up that word Joshua, and like there's a video that I got talked about how where Yahawashi was written in the Bible, it's that name and a couple other names. When you put them all together, and it was in Deuteronomy where Hosea and the son of Nun, it was Hosea and Moses, and Hosea the son of Nun, they sang this song, and the song was the name of Yahawashi, and that was the name that they gave to the elders at the gate. See, so when Joshua came down here to free us and take us into the promised land, that was Yahawashi. That was Yahawashi doing that. So the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. And this is a spiritual house, and that's what's happening right now. Since the 60s, Abba Bivens came on the scene and started teaching this doctrine. That was when it was time. But right now, he's telling them the time hasn't came yet. So then the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? And that's what they doing. People trying, 2/3 trying to live here, and they trying to live in I think it says sealed, your sealed houses, and this house lie waste. Now I want to go look that up actually, so we get a better house. What is a sealed house? I want to go look that up because I actually haven't looked it up yet. So Lord's putting the spirit on me to go check that out. And that's how you want to do when you want to understand it. You gotta go study and look up stuff. And, you know, we here to edify. You know, and a lot of times when I do my videos, I get edified too. That's why I really enjoy doing them, you know. I'm going to wait for that to load. I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to go back and look it up. So, in the house lie waste, verse 5, now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Okay? So there's that. Let's look that up real quick.
Strong's H, 5603. Safan.
So
Safan.
that's Safan. It just says to cover in, wainscoted, cover with boards and paneling. So basically, like, you know, just a house. You know, never good, never too hard to go, never too nothing wrong to go look. You know, just talking about a house. So this could be applying to the day as well. You know, part of these precepts. So now, therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahawashi, consider your ways, because he was telling them too. They were like, you know, we want the house built, and they said, well, you ain't even done what I said do yet. So this is basically what we're going through right now. You know, especially, you know, the new people coming into the truth. This is what we come to realize why we are struggling so much. So you have so much, and bring in little, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Right? He said, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahawashi, consider your ways. What are we supposed to consider? What house are we really supposed to be building on? So it says, go up to the mountain. And this mountain is talking about a nation, which is Israel, and bring wood, which is what? Word. This truth. Lessons. You know? Or maybe you're just a brother who's supposed to tithe. Maybe you just, you know, or Aqua, which is a sister that's supposed to do something else. You know, I can't tell you that. That's not my way out of my pay grade. And build the house, and I will take pleasure in it. We're supposed to be a spiritual brick for the kingdom, for the tabernacle of David, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. So we're supposed to be doing this to glorify, building these bricks. But then it goes this, it says, verse 9, yet ye look for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. See, the Lord mainly took away those riches from us. Why? Why, Lord? Saith the Lord of hosts, because mine house that is waste, and ye run every man into his own house, which means that our 2/3 of our people, they keep trying to establish their life here and their righteousness here. They keep trying to do this and not put Yahawashi and this work first. And that's why the Lord keeps fucking up their shit and just saying, all right, well, they think they're just gonna have 40,000 in savings. They don't want to serve me. Shit, you can take it, Esau, Edom. They don't have no covering. So then Esau, Edom takes it. It has to be ordained by the Lord for it to happen. And that's why we want to be on his side. He said, if you're on my side, who can come against you? So Haggai chapter 1, verse 10, that reads, therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit, because it ain't got this truth in it. And I call for a drought upon the land, because there ain't no truth, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. That woman used, you know, she used to get her fish. That was her labor. He took all that. Why? Because she ain't serving Yahawashi. Nobody else over there is either. And there might be some that is. But I tell you this right now, they got something to drink and they doing good if they really are. Sincerely, we don't know that. We ain't over there. It's Zerubbabel, the son of Satil and Joshua, which really how you spell it is Yahawashi, the son of Josedek. And that's why they call, you know, Melchizedek. That's a whole nother story for another time. The high priest with all the remnant of the people. See, the remnant. Okay, that's what we're for here, for the elect. Obeyed the voice of the Lord their God, Yahawashi, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God, Yahawashi, had sent them, and the people did fear before the Lord. And they doing that today. You know, we hope to be a part of those people. Then spake Haggai, the Lord's messenger, and the Lord's message unto the temple, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. How are we with them? How is he with us? Because he gave us his truth. You know, starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. You know, and they pass it down to us. We're like their spiritual children, and they're our spiritual fathers. So Job chapter 5, verse 20, and it reads, "In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword." And that's why we want to put our faith in Yahawashi over ourselves, because he's the one who controls everything. He controls all the bodies walking around the earth. I'm gonna trust in him before I trust in myself. You know, because I know if I trust in him and I tell him to guide me, he gonna make me do, you know, what he wants me to do. And what he wants me to do is gonna be way better than anything I wanted to do. Every time I do that, I end up with a bag full of O's. Verse 19, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. And that's what we're looking for. We looking, but we already being satisfied right now through this word. But he said he loaded us every day with. He said he loaded us every day with daily benefits. He also said he rewarded the fools and the transgressors. So how much more for the people who are serving the Lord? And the fools is Esau, Edom, and the transgressors is, you know, the fools is Esau, Edom, and the other 16 nations, but mainly Esau, Edom, because that's who they follow. And then the transgressors is 2/3 of our people, because they Esau, Edom's boyfriend. So Psalm chapter 33, verse 18, it reads, "Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy." And that's what we are, prisoners of hope, hoping for his mercy. If we do this work and we stick diligent and we be sincere and we give it all we got. Verse 19, to deliver their soul from death, to keep them alive in famine. And that's what we're looking for, to be kept alive in famine. So while we didn't got past that, now we're going to deal with these two articles, and I'm going to put in some precepts dealing with this. So it says, Westchester DA quietly closes Trump investigation without charges. And why do you think they did that? Because they know that he ain't the only wicked Edomite. They're all wicked Edomites. So he's got a whole lot of things that they don't want him to pull out on them either. He got dirt on them either. So this is the first. He still got other charges, but they dropped this one, and this was showing like this is Emperor Nero, man, from back then in the Roman Empire. Okay, you're not okay. They're not gonna get that guy. Okay, he's gonna get out of it. This is what I believe, but we're gonna consider the whole matter. But listening to the prophets and listening to the elders, he's gonna get out of there. Like he's gonna make it out. Okay, and he's gonna end up probably being president again because he wants mass shootings and guillotines and all that, and that's tied into Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. One of them Edomites got to do it. He the only ones that's been publicly talking about it. So, anyways, they just closed the case. Basically, when you read into it, and it talks about, I don't know what that is. They closed the case and basically talked about they didn't want to explain why they closed the case. Why? Because they know he got stuff. He got intel on America Babylon the Great, man. These people is wicked, and they try to act like they all about justice and nobody can get past the law. But hey, they thieves and vagabonds. Okay, they not nobody. They thieves. So while that's going on over there, these KKK members in Kentucky are pulling guns on the fruit roll-ups. Okay, and the police let them go. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? He over here, they got 43 counts on you know, Trump, who we believe is Emperor Nero. That spirit is Emperor Nero. When you go look about him, he was an evil emperor in Rome, real evil. And then, you know, they said he was going to do 400 years. They already dropping his shit. He ain't even went to court really yet. Then over here, you got the KKK pulling guns on these, you know, these fruit roll-ups, these rainbow people. I don't even want to say rainbow because the rainbow's ours. So that's why I say fruit roll-ups. But anyways, you know, the Transformers. But 12 let them go. They said, oh, you're going to just pull them. They did a violent act. They pulled guns on them. Okay? They said, no, just go home. Just go home. Don't shoot nobody, because then we're gonna have to arrest you because it's gonna look too funny. They're gonna know we wicked. So these are the precepts I want to put in on. This is Psalms chapter 73. And I remember when they were talking about arresting them and everything, like I was it says to consider the whole matter, and as we're going on and seeing, this is coming to be true. Psalm chapter 73, verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. They not. We pull a gun on them damn rainbow. Jake, go out there and pull a gun out on the rainbow committee, not the rainbow committee, Salakia, the fruit roll-ups. Man, you going to jail, man. They ain't gonna let you go. We pull a gun on anybody, we going to jail. We got a gun most of the time, we going to jail. Okay? We don't have rights here. Verse 6. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. You see, that's what they did. They pulled out them straps and they said, hey, we know you, Esau, Edom. We know this how you get down. Just go on. Stop drinking so much, That's what they did. And that just shows you that enmity from all the way back then, that ancient hatred. That's what they are. They hate anything that's not them. And they even hate them, they even hate themselves. So Revelation chapter 13, verse 4, and it reads, and they worship the dragon. Hold on. That's not the one. Yeah, wait. Yeah, this is right. Salakia. So Revelation chapter 13, verse 4, and they worship the dragon. And the dragon, it goes back to the Roman Empire, revived Roman Empire. And basically, the dragon goes back to the old serpent. In Genesis 3:15 says the dragon had a old serpent. And when you start really digging into dragon, when you look up the word draconian, it means harsh or severe laws. Okay, and the dragon is the one that made war with the woman. Okay, in Revelations. And that's them. It's Esau Edom. That's the dragon. And that's why they call it a red dragon. And that's why Esau Edom came out red. You see? It's talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man, which gave power unto the beast, which is the Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who was able to make war with him? And that's how it was for a long time. After America Babylon the Great bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those two Japanese cities, it was like, who's going to try to make war with them? They just going to bomb us. We don't want to make war with them. But now it's getting to that point to where these other nations are standing up, because in Joel chapter 9 or chapter 3, verse 9 and 10, the Lord says, wake up the mighty men of war, And they starting to turn on this place. He said, beat thou swords, thy plowshares into swords, which means turn these agricultural weapons into these agricultural tools into military nukes. Okay, and that's why all these other nations are testing nukes out and making sure they work, and because they're not used to having a whole bunch of missiles, so they're really gearing themselves up. But it's the Lord making them do it. So this is Psalm chapter 64, verse 5, and it reads, they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune themselves, commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? So they got these lists saying that they know how many people, how many nukes they got, and they got Trump saying, oh well, he do his stuff, and they say, well, you gonna see me? Well, the Lord see you, but the Lord's got you doing that wickedness for you to be destroyed. And I'm telling you, these other nations, they tried to say North Korea only got 30 missiles or 30 nukes or something. Yeah, from what you can count, everything else they doing is private. Okay, they testing a nuke every like they tested like 10 nukes in the last 2 months. They gotta have more than 30. Like, it's just like if you go to somebody's house, your family's house, and say, how many quarters you got? And they tell you 10, but he really got 700 quarters. Okay, like, how are you supposed to know? You don't know. You just know what they tell you. And that's how they do. They do things privately. And they say, who shall see them? And then they go on the news and say they're doing this, but they're doing more than that. Verse 6, they search out inequities, which is what? Like, when you go to the Arabian stores and they got all the doggone scales and weed bongs and stuff, and then they'd be like, smoking weed is illegal. Like, that doesn't make no sense. Like, that shows you that that's how they do. They try to get us to go off. They accomplish a diligent search. That's what they do. They try to get Jake to go off. Both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart, which is their mind, is deep. They go real deep, and just like I said in Genesis 3:15, they search, they do diligent searches. All this stuff explains Esau Edom without even going to his color. Okay, this is how these people are. You know, and we could even go down to even prove it to that point, but it's like we don't even got to go there. You know, all the damn shit they done. So 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 9. But don't think for a second we won't if we got to. You know, that's how we look at it. Like we'll go to that. We'll go to that if we need to. The Lord puts the Spirit on us. So 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 9, it reads, "The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust to the day of judgment to be punished." And that's why a lot of people, you know, they think that they're going to get away with it because the Lord doesn't judge them right off the back when they do wickedness. He'll let them get away with it for a little while, but they really not getting away with it. It's being accounted for. So verse 10, "But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanliness and despise government." And this is really talking about both governments, because Yahawashi is ruler of all principalities. That's why he said to obey the laws of the land. That's why we're not supposed to be here selling drugs, doing stuff like that, because the Lord is ultimately running that dominion. He put them on top to punish Jacob because we didn't want to listen. He put these heathens on top of us. But that's what they're meant for. They're meant to keep fucking up the wicked. And that's why he says return from inequities. Quit doing sinful shit. And I won't send Esau Edom after you, and you be getting locked up in jail and dealing with all this shit. They beating Jacob in the street. You know, it's all that can be avoided if you just serve Yahawashi. So in despised government, presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. They're not. They treat the Lord's people like shit. They don't give a fuck. But soon they will. So Romans chapter 13, verse 4. I know this is a long lesson, but the Lord put the Spirit on me. I do what He tells me to do. Usually I try to do about an hour, but I don't got too much left. So Romans, the water for tuning in though, y'all. You know, I try to give you something that's going to help edify you to the best of my ability. So Romans chapter 13, verse 4 reads, "For He is the minister of power to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For He beareth not the sword in vain." And who did He give the sword? In Genesis chapter 40, He gave it to Esau Edom. So Esau Edom is his whooping stick. That's his sword. And He didn't put them in that position for nothing. You know, it's for the wicked. For He is the minister of power, the revenger to execute wrath upon them that doeth evil. That's why we're not doing evil and we're doing what the Lord telling us to do, which is stay occupied in prophecy and, you know, keep ourselves unspotted from this world and don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers to the best of our abilities, because we're going to make mistakes. We're going to go off. We're going to do stuff like that. But if you're sincere, the Lord's going to pull you out of all of that. He's going to give you a way through the temptation to escape. See? And that's why we have to pray for the Lord for strength. Pray for the Lord for things, because He's about to put us through a trial. And that's why we be like, Lord, give me strength. Why? Because you're gonna need it to get through the trial. You know, most people just pray for strength or pray for, you know, whatever, just to, you know, get away from the temptation. But you know, we're here to suffer with Yahawashi. You know, we're gonna go through stuff. So this is just some good things to keep in mind, you know, to remember some good precepts that'll keep you strong. So this is Isaiah chapter 35, verse 4. "Say to them that are of a fearful heart," and we all been there. When I came into this truth, I was terrified. I was like, oh man, the Lord gonna jack me up. I ain't been in the truth for 30 years, and I'm just finding out, oh, Lord's mad at me. Like, you know, that's how I thought about it. I was terrified. But it's an order to this. You know, He's waking everybody up when they're supposed to wake up. So say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your power will come with a vengeance. He's coming to avenge us. Even power with a recompense, which is payback. he will come and save you. And he also said that he doesn't have thoughts towards his elect of evil. He has thoughts of peace that we have an expected end. So it's, these are all good things to think about, But this is another thing to also take under consideration, and this is a lot of jakes, they don't take this under consideration, and that's why you got some of these jakes will be like, well, I'll still eat pork, I'll still smoke weed. But look, this is what it says, Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26. For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, this truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. So we can't just keep doing the same thing. We got to put on that new man and come out of that world. Or the Lord will take your candlestick, man. He might not just take your life or something, but he might take your job away. Or when you get to the truth, you're going to go through that anyways. You're going to go through that anyways. But if you're like someone, like, let's say you're a prophet in that time, and you're supposed to be a prophet this time, and you bullshitting, still smoking weed or whatever, the Lord's going to jack you up in some way to get you to get right. Just like he did Jonas. Jonas was like, I ain't doing all that. And he said, all right, and put your ass in captivity. You're going to be like, never mind. So Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17. And it reads, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when we were come forth out of Egypt. See, we're supposed to keep in remembrance that these are some devils and we can't trust their ass. Remember what they did to our people. What did they do? How he met thee by the way and smoked the hindermost of thee, which means women and children. So they just slayed all of our kids. Like if you was just with your people and y'all walking through the desert or something, or through the plains or the woods, and then Esau, even so-called white man, pull up behind you and start shooting your kids in the head, start stabbing your wives, cutting their heads off, and start killing all y'all. Okay? This is what they did to us, man. That's why the Lord said in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, ain't going to be remembrance of the foreign things. Because some of us wouldn't be able to handle what remembering this stuff. He had to put it in a book. So how he met me by the way, and smoked the hindermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, that's women and children. Then thou was faint and weary, and he feared not power. And they don't fear Yahawashi today either. But they will when the time comes. When the time comes and the day of judgment comes, they're gonna be terrified. Okay? But and that's just the average Edomite Joe, they're not terrified right now. But Amalek, the first descendants of Esau, the ones that are now like the Rawchas, the ones that are in the power seat, the elites, they ass is terrified. Okay, they be watching these videos and be in their stomach curling, talking about I need some wine. Like they know they going into slavery. Okay, they know what the fuck they did. They try to hide this shit. So Psalm chapter 74, verse 23, forget not the voice of thine enemies. See, don't forget what they fucking did, man. Fuck these motherfuckers. The tumult of those that rise up against thee increases continually, and they continue to rise up. You see, they continue to try to be like, oh, well, we just gonna make a whole bunch of AI robots and we gonna fight them that way, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Y'all motherfuckers gonna get twerked, okay? Because you fucked around with the wrong people. You fuck with the Lord's people, man. He's finna end it. So, like I said, there was a video that one of the ones from GMS Dallas camp he did. I posted in my community boards. My last one I just posted. You should go watch that one too. It's very edifying when you get the chance, and it shows you that they rolling tanks in a bunch of different cities right now. Something's going to go down, and while they're doing that, it says Illinois passes a law ending cash bail, gains the nickname the Purge Law. Why is that? Why is that? They call it the Safety Act. They did it in November 2022, but they didn't drop it. But this is what it's supposed to do. It says non-detainable offenses. They can't even detain you on these offenses. These are the 12, we got the 12 tribes of Israel. It's all this stuff is prophecy. So there are 12 non-detainable offenses where the new law could end cash bail. The law includes second-degree murder, arson, drug-induced homicide, robbery, kidnapping, aggravated battery, burglary, intimidation, aggravated driving under the influence, fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, and threatening a public official. You see this? This is what they're about to drop. It's going to be all hell out here, and it's going to give them the means to enact that martial law. That's why they're getting these military set up, because when you look up the word martial law, you know, most of us know what it means, but let's just look it up so we can get the actual definition. Maybe there's some people that don't really know the definition. No. So martial law is a substitution of civilian government for military rule. See, it's a substitution. So you got all these people out here sitting down. Yeah, there's not going to be, we're not going to have no rights. Everybody's going to turn into Jacob out here. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. Ain't nobody going to have no rights. And the suspension of civilian legal processes for military powers. Martial law can continue for a specified amount of time or indefinitely. See, standard civil liberties may be suspended for as long as martial law continues, so it can be suspended forever. They can just be like, fuck it, we're just going to be demons. And first, they want everybody else to go along with it and see who's going to be doing this kind of shit. And it says also down here that it says because prosecutors will only have 48 hours to decide whether the criminal should be released. Investigators believe that 48 hours isn't enough to collect valuable evidence from surveillance cameras, laboratory work, and forensic research. So literally, they can't even detain their ass for 2 days, and their ass could be out of the state. You see? And this is the stuff that Esau Edom is cooking up, man. We gotta have Yahawashi to make it out of this shit. There ain't gonna be no making it out of here without him. You know? So Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 19. And it reads, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. It sure didn't sound like it in that law. But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. There's going to be a lot of robberies, a lot of burglaries, a lot of killing. It's going to be real life purge. You know, this is the stuff that's coming. And people thinking about the purge and like, they're like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be protected. What happens if they ship you off to World War III? Then you ain't ever coming back, because that's it. That's the last war that's going to end all wars. You ain't coming back here if you get shipped off there. And that's why we like over here, like, we're going to serve you Bahasham Yahawashi. Because you're going to serve you Bahasham Yahawashi, or you're going to serve America Babylon the Great. And they don't give a fuck about us. They going to send your ass. Okay? They already call us worthless eaters. They ain't worried about us. Okay? They say we ain't about nothing. That's why they're trying to replace everybody with androids. So Second Esdras chapter 16, verse 20. And it reads, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Why? Because there ain't gonna be there's already not too many men left. Most of us got to speak through the unicorn just to talk to real men, our brothers. You know the brotherhood, we got to speak to the unicorn. We scattered all over the place. Only way we can hear each other is through the unicorn, which is the internet, which is found in Job chapter 3. But what I'm saying is like, once this internet go out, all you're going to have is whatever brothers is with you in that city. And where I'm at, I'm in Oklahoma. So I only got an elder, like one other person that I'm with here that says, Yahawashi Yahawashi. Nobody else says that here. That's all I got, you know? So we're pretty close, you know? And I said the water Yahawashi Yahawashi. Now he doesn't really necessarily call himself an elder, but I look at it like in Titus chapter 1, verse 5, it says that there's elders ordained in every city, and he's the only one who's been teaching out here, teaching the words of Yahawashi Yahawashi until I came along. He said there's other brothers who try to come around, but they ain't stick around. So it's just us, you know? And it's a blessing that, you know, he thought about leaving here. You know, the Lord kept him down here. Guess it's for me so far. We're going to see. Lord willing, you know, Lord brings in more laborers. So this is verse 28. And it reads, for a city, there shall be 10 left and 2 in the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks, man. Why? Because a lot of people going to get shipped off to World War III. Ain't going to be a lot of people out here. It's not going to be a lot of people out here. It's going to be a whole bunch of women, and a lot of them is going to be part of the honorable multitude, and they going to get in order because they going to understand if they don't, Esau either going to ship their ass off in the sex slave trade, or they going to sell their ass, or they going to eat their ass, okay, because they're demons, okay? They made shows like Jeffrey Dahmer and shit and spent all that money just to talk about a guy a long time ago who was eating people, okay? And a lot of people watched that show and was binge watching that shit, okay? Well, you don't think them people gonna turn into cannibals? There ain't no food. And they said all the laws can be broken. Yeah, I doubt it that they won't. I doubt it that they won't. They're gonna do it. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 68. But behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle. See, the ones that's being idle and not serving Bahasham Yahawashi, we got to be serving them in some way. Doesn't mean you got to be doing no long videos or whatever. You know, you maybe just do a 10-minute video if you're a brother. If you're a woman, you know, find you a man who are the Lord and serve him. Or maybe just, you know, learn how to make garments, learn how to make, you know, something for the brotherhood, you know, because it says what you do for my sheep, what you do for my flock of men, which is Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 31, is basically what you're doing to Bahasham Yahawashi. That's his flock. So it says, and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. Verse 69, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. See? You don't want to be one of those people. You want to be saved. Verse 70, there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And that's the ones who actually fear Bahasham Yahawashi. How much you think is going to come for the people who not? And they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Why? Because there ain't going to be no laws, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Some of us are going to have to die in this phase, but the Lord going to bring us right back. You know, but we hoping that when they come in like a flood, he lifts up that standard and we get those spiritual powers. But we, you know, it all comes down to whether you was chosen to have that. So verse 72, there's nothing that we can do to get that. That's if you got it or you don't. And it's a scary thought, but hey, all we can do is to work. He said, you can strive unto death as Bahasham Yahawashi did, and I'll give you a crown of life. You know, better than that than wake up like Esau Edom and go through 1,000 years of slavery, brutal slavery, and then get destroyed. Okay, so you gotta look on the bright side of this thing, man. We go through some suffering, but they finna suffer. Okay, verse 72: for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. This is all part of our trial. See if we really believe in Bahasham Yahawashi. Then shall they be known. Which ones? Who are my chosen? Why? Because they're not going to bow to the image of Baal. We're not getting down with them. We'll be like, hey, you're going to chop my fucking head off, man. So who are my chosen? And they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. But we can't even have that spirit unless the Lord gives us that spirit. That's why we pray to Bahasham Yahawashi to take the Holy Spirit from us. Psalms chapter 51:11. Same thing that King David prayed to Bahasham Yahawashi. Because, you know, he messed up and committed adultery. He was begging the Lord. He said, man, please, man, don't take away the Qadash. The Lord forgave him. So verse 74, here, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, and I will deliver you from the same. I'm not saying that the Lord going to forgive you if you do it. I'm just saying, you know, it just happened to be King David. You know, not all of us are gonna be able to just do stuff and get away with it. That's why we know we ain't none of us King David. Shoot, we better just be right. Okay, we just followers. Well, I can only speak for myself. I'm just a follower. So, we got that. Now we're gonna do Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 17, and then I got one more video and I got about 5 precepts. So we ain't got too much longer. So Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 17. And it reads, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because of martial law. That's what's coming. Well, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. And that's how 2/3 is. Their pride, other 16 nations, and Esau Edom. And they really gonna be the ones who Esau Edom, they're gonna be some bullet sponges for him because they not giving up their weapons. They gonna go out like Esau Edom. They gonna get the blasting at the military. Military gonna get the blasting at them. It's gonna be a bloody ass scene. We're gonna hope to be out of the way. But because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Who ain't gonna be afraid? Why? Because it says in Amos chapter 3, verse 6, it says if there's terror in the city or if there's evil in the city, it says, have the Lord not done it? So this is the Lord's work right here. Okay, it's gonna be some people actually out here like this. Okay, really on this shit, and they gonna have a little bit of bread too, so they gonna have some weapons. Play with the Lord. But okay, this is this I got this and then yeah, I got a couple more presets for this, and then some stuff doing with. I got one preset for this one, talking about scientists create human embryo-like structures with stem cells. We're gonna pull in a couple precepts on that, and then we're gonna get done. But this is talking about the UPS workers vote to strike, setting stage for biggest walkout since 1959. So this is a big deal. Okay, that's a lot of bread. A lot of people not gonna be getting mail. So it said 97% of the voting members approved the strike. It looked like the only people that didn't was the bosses. Everybody else like, yeah, we want to strike. And what do they want? They basically want one thing that America Babylon the Great don't do. What? Higher pay, the elimination of so-called two-tier wages, where newer workers are paid less than older employees for the same job, the removal of surveillance cameras from delivery trucks, and full-time jobs. They're not going to do none of that. And the reason why other people get paid more for less than other jobs, because they either a mason or they in the boule or they got some connections, man. That's how this place is. You got to be Esau Edom's little girlfriend if you want to get in somewhere nice. So members of the Teamsters Union, which represents about 340,000 workers at the package delivery company, voted overwhelmingly on Friday to strike if no agreement reached with UPS by the time the current contract expires on July 31st. So that's coming up. So in about a month, they don't do something about this shit, they're getting the fuck out of there, and it's going to be a lot of hell going to break loose. So let me put in some precepts. We'll consider a whole matter. We'll see what happens. And that's how I said it says consider the whole matter. I could pull up the precept, but you know, I pulled up a lot of precepts. I might leave it in the comments board. Lord willing. So Psalm chapter 46, verse 6, the heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved, he uttered his voice and the earth melted. And that's what's happened. The Lord ain't even said nothing yet. As soon as he utters something, it's over. Everything's gonna go down. Jacob's trouble. They're gonna get nuked, and then he gonna come down here with the 144,000 leg men. He's slaying everything. So this is Luke chapter 21, verse 25, and this is Yahawashi speaking. He said, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon." And we seen they called it the strawberry moon, but that thing was red. It looked like a sun, and in the stars. And that was the same day that they had the whole pride movement thing. That was the Lord showing his anger. Okay, he's ready to jack this place up. And in the stars and upon the earth, the stress of nations. And what that sound like? Them voters going on stress, the stress of nations. That's part of it. There's a whole lot. There's been, man, I got so many videos with so many uproars. So with perplexity, stress of nation with perplexity, and the sea and the waves warring. Verse 26, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. How will they be shaken? From intercontinental ballistic missiles. So this is Second Esdras, chapter 9, verse 3. And this he gave Esdras so much insight. Like, this is something that literally, you know, that's why he was saying, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? Because he knew he was going to be here reading his own words. So Second Esdras chapter 9, verse 3, and it reads, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquake and uproars other people in the world, which has been both, then, you know, the earthquake in Turkey in February killed 50,000 people. And there's been other earthquakes, but that's been the most recently big one. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. You look in Daniel 7:10, Daniel chapter 7, verse 10, he said the judgment was set and the books were open. So this has already happened, basically. It just has to play out. So it's not on a matter of considering the matters, but when it comes to small matters, we consider the matter because we don't really know how those are going to go. But we know that eventually everything's going to crumble. We don't know if they're going to go on strike, but we know that, more than likely they are. But if they don't, the Lord has something else in mind. And that's how we consider the whole matter. We go by what he wants to do. His ways are not our ways. So Psalms chapter 2, verse 1, why do the heathen rage? And the people imagine a vain thing. What's that vain thing? That this, this is really worth fighting for. Like, this ain't worth fighting for. Lord can blow this motherfucker up. Lord said, I'm not going to even have y'all fight America, Babylon the Great. I'm going to have y'all go take Israel. America, Babylon the Great, that's mine. I want to just blow it up. I don't even want he's not going to do nothing. It's not going to be no fighting over here in Israel, okay? He going to gather his elect, and he going to blow this place up, okay? He wants to shoot missiles at it. And then he wants to take over the other side of the earth where Israel is. So Psalms chapter, and that's where Amalek, the small hats are. They're in old Babylon in Iraq. They're hiding over there because they know this place is destined to get destroyed. So Psalms chapter 83, verse 2, and it reads, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. Oh, wait. Yeah, they hate thee that have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against my people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have come and said, come, let us cut us off from being a nation. But the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And then after that, when you read, it gives you all the nations, Esau, Edom starting, and then on down. But, I don't want to get too far into it. We know by now these are enemies. And, they're starting to, he said, I will set Satan against himself. And that's what Satan's doing right now. Part of his nation is going against themselves, and he's going to destroy themselves. But the Egyptian versus Egyptian is really talking about ultimately Russia versus America. Okay. Those are both Edomites. So right here it says scientists create human embryo-like structures with stem cells. We're going to look up Revelations. I'm not really too big into looking up how they do it. Doesn't really matter. Lord's going to blow it up. So I just want to type in where it talks about it. If you want to go look up and read about it, it's not a sin to. I'm just like, what's the point? We're just showing that this is why they're doing it. So we're going to start actually verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. See? Dragon. Verse 12. And he that exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which is what? The old Roman Empire, and causes the earth, and them which to dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. What's that? That's talking about America, Babylon the Great, the revived Roman Empire. This place is revived Rome. And that's how he's going to make the Romans see Bahasham Yahawashi and see that he was pierced in the same place. See, revived Rome, which means what? Reincarnation. He reincarnated everybody back over here on the other side of the earth, made them forget what the fuck they did over here. So when he gets here, they're going to see, oh, fuck, his words actually worked out. So, and he do a great wonder so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth, and that he make it, and this talking about Esau, Edom, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on earth in the side of man, which is that fat man and little boy when he bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell upon the earth by the means of those miracles. What's those miracles? Making human embryos and shit. Scientists doing all this weird shit. They don't need me really be doing. Trying to play God. Means of those miracles which he had power to do in sight of the beast. What's that? By Roman Empire, because they got all fucking money. Saying to them that dwell upon the earth, that dwell on the earth, and they should make an image to the beast. What's that image? M-A-R-K, the sea hip, the charagma, that's in the right hand of the forehead, which they call the neural link or the RFDI chip, which had the wound by the sword and did live. But they don't think this is American Babylon the Great, but people who actually, you know, they have the eye salve. Revelation chapter 3, verse 18, talk about the eye salve, was talking about the Lord anointed us with this spiritual lens so we can see really what's going on, you know? So, that's all I got for tonight. Water for tuning in. Lord willing, hope it was edifying. Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel. You Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Look like the other nations. Got to give all praises to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Bahasham, Qadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone led me to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness, mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, to the hopeful elect. Lord, wouldn't we be part of that number? Lord, wouldn't this be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities? His judgment always comes to light, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9, and it's unto a ring, 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. So Lord, wouldn't hope this is edifying. Lord willing, we can spend another day with Yahawah Yahawashi and exalt his name to the best of our abilities. Wa abal babal. Shalom.